I was in the library on my planning period.
Sister Carol came on the announcements and said,
She started with, "I have some very sad news."
And told our whole school what was going on. I remember she asked us all to pray.
In the hours, days, and weeks following 9/11, many parents had to hide or find a way to explain the frightening images from that day to their children. But in the moment, teachers had to make a quick decision about how not only to calm their students, but help them witness history.
Incredulous.
Truly, as you're looking at the...
No one has claimed responsibility.
we think it would be important for you to turn on your television set. Something is happening. Planes have gone into the World Trade Centers.
And it was hard to decide what to do at that time.
Many classes at Notre Dame Academy made their way down to the library, where at the time, one of few TVs was available. Kristen Shank, an NDA high school senior at the time, was one of those students.
And I remember just kind of all, just feeling uncertain and just being scared what was going on.
As students here at Notre Dame watched the images unfold on live television, many became scared and nervous the United States government was going to be overthrown. But what started as an uneasy classroom environment quickly turned into a history lesson when teachers jumped into action.
This other teacher and I began to talk a little bit with them.
Retired government teacher Jacqueline Konwinski directed students' attention to the blackboard. She began teaching about government structure to reassure students they were safe.
And so we talked to the girls a little bit about what this meant, and that intelligence of our government will find out who is behind this and deal with this.
While Konwinski does not teach anymore, Amy Johns and Trish Sanders both do, still at Notre Dame Academy. 20 years later, they have watched September 11th turn into a history lesson for students rather than something they remember firsthand.
It's very much an abstract concept. It's like something that happened in a textbook.
I went from teaching students who were directly affected and old enough to be directly affected by 9/11 to teaching students who were too little to remember to teaching students who were not born yet.
But one thing that has not changed in the past 20 years, the reverence and respect students display, especially when seeing the images from that day. That reverence carries over for those who are old enough to remember the feeling of togetherness in the days following the attacks.
I think it's the one time that I can remember in my adult life that the country was really, really united.
Feeling the sense of community that we had here, to be able to pray for all the victims and feeling that we were all kind of together.
One of the things I'm always so awed by with my students is their empathy, their ability to reach out and support others. So I saw a lot of that, of how do we help, how do we get better from this, which I think is perhaps the very best thing children can learn in the whole world.
In West Toledo, Amy Steigerwald, WTOL 11.